the lawsuits. I personally don't think that people should get anything. But you never know. City mayor, police chief, city manager. Do one or the other. You can't do both. Nobody can do two jobs and expect to have 100% efficiency. No way. I know you looking at me like, yes, we can. No, you can't. It takes time for you as a city manager or you as a chief of police to do your job properly. I've never seen in other cities, at least I haven't heard about it, that have one gentleman doing two jobs and neither one's getting done properly. We need this to get done properly. So let's start changing. We move you some people, council members here. We want you to start changing things for the benefit of 75,000 people. Not for 5, not for 10 or 1. 75,000 taxpayers want you people to work for them. So let's start doing that. Don't look at me like I'm lost. I'm not lost. People out there, when I walk around, they'll say, hey, how come they haven't done this? How come they haven't done that? I wish it would all come down here and complain, but they don't. So that's why I'm here, to make sure that you people do what you're supposed to be doing. And number one, revenue. We need revenue. Because as soon as the mayor mentions taxes,
Mr. Luna, you had 3 minutes.
by 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Mr. Luna. All right, move along. Public communication.
Yeah, we didn't have to call AAA. Good evening, everybody. Mike DeTorellis, been a resident here for 14 years, or sometime when I was cute and chubby. This is great stuff, but we're going to lose our popularity. A lot of times I tell people, I live in Baldwin Park, and they go, yeah, I've heard that somewhere. I said, yeah, KNX. Accident on the 605 and 10 freeway in the city of Baldwin Park. Now we lose all that. Monday, I went over to the pool as usual, and there was glass all over the side there going into the entrance. If I would have had good knees, good back, I'd cleaned it up. But I reported it. I came back to the pool today. The glass is still there. We have glass all over, but when there's glass right next to the children's daycare center, I get a little bit turned. So please, can someone please send somebody out there to clean that out before some kid lands on it? Also, I can't believe over at 14508, and I don't know how many times a year I call on that place, on Clark Street between Maupin and Bogart. And I'm sure some of you people driving by there have seen 2 big boxes full of trash, which now is breeding roaches, been sitting there for 2.5 weeks. That means that some trash collector may have seen that there twice, that he picked up the trash and didn't bother reporting it. People driving by, what's going on with code enforcement that they're not driving around looking at stuff like this and, making sure that that stuff gets picked up? It's like I said, the thing that bothers me the most about that bin, it's breeding roaches. So please, if someone can check that, but while they're at it, we need to look around our neighborhoods and make sure that all this stuff is cleaned up and kept sanitized, because it's the neighbors that are going to suffer when those bugs get in their house. And when you start with one, you've got a million all over. I want to thank all of you that came yesterday to the Baldwin Park Historical Society's auction. That was awesome. It was nice seeing all of you. Bad part about it, some people left early and lost that on money and prizes. So I wish you'd given me your tickets. I could have been having some cocktails tonight. But thank you very much for being there and supporting, the Historical Society. Anyway, holidays coming up, so you'll have a good week, and thank you for the outstanding work.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Don Rios. I want to thank Mr. Wall for doing that stuff in those pictures. Did a good job. 2 took a little time, but it's okay. Another thing is, on that now thing that it shows that every other week the sweeper's going to go by, not everybody got it. We might have to send a reminder to all the citizens because I got it because I got it from you, man. You know. But I was asking the neighbors and they didn't know nothing about it. Okay, on the sweeper, okay? I know you guys are looking into it, but yeah, you got to tell Mr. Luna. But other than that, everything's looking pretty good. The parks, Park, like I told Manny, they shouldn't open it until they finish it completely, you know. I just hope nobody gets hurt right there. I went by this morning, and they're still building some. They say they're supposed to be done by August. No way. There's no way they're going to finish. And you sent 2 workers, 1 worker and everything during the week. One of your guys were taking pictures yesterday. But it's something we have to get after the contractors. We're going to give it to the city. The contractors put time frame on it. Yeah. They say, we already got it. We got to go after the contractors to take advantage of us. Yeah. But other than that, everything's looking good. The police department's doing good. Been an eye on the hood. But everything's coming out okay, Mr. Gator. You've done a good, beautiful job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Hey, Thomas Carey. Welcome home.
Yeah, find me a foreclosure and I'll be home.
All right.
In San Bernardino. Well, for me, anyway. They were talking about the street sweeper. At least San Bernardino gets their street sweeper, even though they're bankrupt. We still manage to have one every other week. We're paying for it some way. I'm not sure how, but at least it comes every other week. What I'm wondering, though, is all these people that are flooding up over the border down there, whether they're miners or whatever, where's the water going to come from for all of this? There's not any water for the people that are here now. So why are we having to conserve, and then they're going to let all these people come up here and farm them out all over the place, thumb the nose of the law, as usual, rather than just rounding them all up and sending a message, not here, send them back. Let them immigrate legally. You immigrate legally, I don't have a problem. You invade us, I've got a problem with that. Because where are these people going to live? Where's the water going to come from? And all the other things, too. We can't support the people we have here now. I was over at the animal shelter today. I'd rather the money be used to spay and neuter all those poor animals that are probably going to be murdered over there. And that's what it is. They're not getting the message here that the animals need to be spayed and neutered. Lots of nice little kitties over there. Doggies too. And what chance do they have? We're spending all this money on all these invaders rather than taking care of our people here and our animals to make sure that they're fixed. Where's all the water, though? Where's this going to come from? Rather than building trains to nowhere, Governor Brown, how about pipelines back east to bring water here? That would be a better thing for the money. The billions, and what's it, 62 billion they're saying it's going to be now? Well, we know it's going to be 100 billion before long. Isn't that better to spend that to bring water here? Because if there's no water, we don't need a drain, and we need to stop this density building that they have going on. That takes water too. Buildings with all kinds of units and all kinds of stuff, not just the landscaping. The freeway doesn't need to be landscaped. They use cobblestones and concrete for that. No water required. Maybe put little holes or something so the water can at least soak down the ground. But you don't need all that goddamn landscaping. Not on the freeway. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're talking to conserve water, and then they're over here putting all this landscaping everywhere. Where's the water going to come from for that? What about here in the cities? The median's overwatered and the water's running down the street 2 o'clock in the morning. Who's going to address that? Medians shouldn't have grass and stuff like that. There's no water for that. I've been saying that for years, long before I moved away from here.
3 minutes are up.
It's nuts. It's insane. Water everywhere. Nowhere.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, so at this point, moving on with public communication. Anyone else wishing to speak? If not, Mike Sweet? Oh, okay. All right, thank you. At this point, I'd like to close the public communication. Thought he raised his hand up. All right, so at this point, we're going to go into one of the shortest agendas we've ever had. At this point, we have consent calendar. Council members wishing to pull any items out?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item number 4, please.
Item number 4, agreement for chief executive officer. All right, so at this point, Councilmember Monica Garcia.
I'd like to move approval, item 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. This one I'll second. Any objections? See none, so moved. Item number 4.
Thank you, Mayor. In the spirit of working together and starting off on a positive note, I'm not going to oppose this item, and I want to be really clear about that. But I thought it was important for me to state my concerns for the public record. I am concerned about the process that we followed for our selection of our new CEO, and I wish that it would have been an open process, and at the very least, posting the vacancy or announcing the vacancy. I met the new superintendent for the Baldwin Park Unified School District and was impressed that they actually went through a very public process. They vetted candidates. I understand they had about 50 candidates in their pool, and they came up with somebody that they felt was a real match. And I do believe that Mr. Yachi will be a good CEO here in Baldwin Park. But I do wish that as a protocol that the city would have had an open process where we could have invited, as many applicants to apply, to screen those applicants appropriately, and then to interview them. And I think that's what most cities follow, and that's what we've done in the past. And I do hope that we continue that tradition moving forward. So with that, like I said, I'm not going to oppose this item. I know that the consensus is there from the City Council, and I just wanted to state my concerns for the public record. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Councilmember. So at this point, I'm agreeing for Chief Executive Officer. Is there a motion? Second? The first, is there a second?
Oh,
I'll second it.
Second, any objections? See none, so moved. All right, thank you very much. All right, at this point, I'm going to move for adjournment of the City Council.
Second.
Any objections? See none, so moved. All right, we're going to go over to the finance, I believe, finance division. Yes. All right, thank you very much. Okay, thanks. This one I'd like to open up the Finance Authority, and I'll move for consent calendars, items number 1. That's the only thing that's there. That's my motion.
Second.
Any objections? See none, so moved. At this point, I'd like to move for adjournment.
Mayor, before we adjourn, can I just briefly acknowledge Al Contreras with the Valley County Water District, and also we have Mike Toohey with the Upper District, as well as Paul Hernandez with Valley County Water District. And Al, please accept my deepest apologies. I know in the past I've overlooked you. And then we also have our commissioners here, which we want to thank you all for being here this evening. But with that, I'll second your motion to adjourn. Mayor, already second.
Okay, it's already second?
Yes, I did.
Beef at Baldwin Park?
Mayor,
Yes.
I just want to make a couple of quick
Oh, we do have one.
items that I have to recognize here. This weekend I did attend the Independent Cities Association summer session along with my colleagues, Councilwoman Cruz Baca and Ms. Monica Garcia, our Councilwoman. We all attended a number of sessions. It was a 3-day event that had a lot of interesting topics. They had water and drought delivery, supply and recycling issues that we talked about, cybersecurity for our cities. We talked about hydrogen fuel cell technology, county-wide solid waste conversion technology, legislative updates, elected officials' role during an emergency crisis, and we talked about the justice system, medical marijuana, AB 109,
the human trafficking and commercial exploitation of children in our community. I think that these conferences are an opportunity for a lot of elected officials and cities to talk about issues that are important to their communities and to be able to exchange ideas. And I'd like to go over each one, but there's so much information that I would take another meeting just to go over them. But the drought in our state and California is very serious drought that we need to begin to really look at as a city, working with our local water agencies, and begin to come with some solutions to try to conserve water, because water, the drought is getting worse, and we really need to take a look at how we can conserve water within our city. So I think it's important that we focus on it. We talked about cybersecurity and a lot of issues about how our systems could be hacked, and a lot of security that we could talk about. And we talked to some consultants there that may be able to look at our cybersecurity and be able to protect the city's cyber resources and make sure that they're not somehow security is violated there. Also, I attended the Historical Society event last time. It was a wonderful event, well attended, and it was a great fundraiser, and I think that the community was able to raise some funds for what they do in that society. And they have a wonderful museum that I think a lot of our communities are not aware of, but they have a great opportunity for us to visit our own city museum. And if you have something to contribute there, they're also open to looking at displays in that regard. Also have a concern about recent articles that came out about the WorkSource Center and that its failure to not be able to function financially. I think it's important that the city, that maybe later on, will bring it on the agenda to start to look at the WorkSource Center, and that we have the city of Baldwin Park begin to look at developing a WorkSource Center. We have one of the highest unemployment rates in the San Gabriel Valley, and I think that a lot of people are not happy with the WorkSource Center in Irwindale, and I think we need to talk to our county supervisor, our state legislatures, and start to talk about how we could develop a WorkSource Center that serves the citizens of Baldwin Park. I think it's important that we focus on that. I also am a part of the 2+2 committee that we had several meetings in regard to a number of issues. One of the important ones was a college satellite for Baldwin Park. Contrary to what the newspaper has been reporting, there is a lot of support for it. There's a lot of elected officials that have been meeting and that do want to see collaboration between the local agencies here, government agencies, and the school board, including our water board, to be able to work with our Mount SAC to be able to bring those resources here. And I know that there's some constituents in the Walnut area that are not very happy by expanding the Mount SAC facilities there, but I'm more than welcome to have our facilities expanded here, and I'd like to really get the community together behind this and let the Mount SAC board that we have a strong amount of support for that, and we'd like to see a satellite center within the city of Baldwin Park, because we are the hub of the San Gabriel Valley. We should have a satellite college here, because the ones that we have that serve our city are on the outskirts. I mean, they're just far away to travel to, and I think that it's important that we have one here in our community. So just wanted to follow up on some of the outside committee meetings that I have been attending. So also, I'd just like to mention that I want to thank Michael Taylor, who initially took on the job of the CEO team manager, is what we called it. And he really got in and really spent a lot of time to put the team together to make sure that a lot of the issues were addressed. He did a fabulous job of putting together a presentation and getting all the information for the finances of the city, so that the information would be presented in a way that elected officials sitting here will be able to make decisions to move the city forward. Along working with our finance director, a lot of this was accomplished. So I just want to give you kudos for that. They did a great job. At the same time, holding down the police department and making sure that they were functioning well and moving along, and working with all the city administrators to make sure that our city goes well. Now, he knew that he took this as an interim job. He didn't have to do it. He didn't have to take that position, but because he's dedicated here to this community and to the city with the many years that he has here, he took that on as an extra work. And I don't think that the pay he got equals the amount of work that I know that he personally put into this city to get it to where it's going. and be able to hand it over to our new city manager. So I just want to thank you, Mike. I think you did a great job, and look forward to working with you again, as always, as a police chief. So thank you very much.
All right.
Mayor, can I say a few
Yes.
words? And I know that I believe Cruz Baca mentioned it earlier today, and as well as Mr. Pacheco. I also want to thank Mr. Tater. I know, Mr. Luna, it's not an ideal situation to have someone run two departments, but in an effort to save our taxpayer money, we decided that we're going to wait until we paid off our previous CEO servants' pay so the taxpayers wouldn't be caught paying two CEOs at once. And so once again, we did it in the interest of saving our residents' money. And I want to thank you for the work that you did. I know it's not an easy job to do both things, and you did it well. So thank you so much, and we really appreciate the time that you put into it. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. At this point, yes.
And I'd like to also recognize some of the commissioners by personally, which is Ana Lujan, Mr. Rios,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
and Mr. Luna, of course, and Anita Diaz is hiding back there, and of course Magda Torres, my neighbor.
All right,
Thank
awesome.
you for all the work you do here in the community. And again, thank you very much, Mr. Yahtzee, and the wonderful team of our staff that put all of this together. I know it was a long, hard process, but we'll make it worth your while. Thank you.
Right on.
Oh, and Sylvia Manuel, she's here too. Right here next to Ana, our commissioner.
Mayor, before we close,
Yes.
Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco, thank you for reminding me we need to report on our trip to Independent Cities Association, and I reiterate everything that you said. It was a great conference, lots of great topics, and it's always a good group to network with and to share ideas and exchange best practices. So great conference. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Also, we can't forget to invite the people to the concerts at the park. We had a lot of
Yes,
fun.
a lot of fun.
A lot of fun last Thursday, yeah. Dancing to the Beach Boys and singing all the familiar songs. The Beatles, I'm sorry. The Beatles.
That's okay.
And next Thursday, it'll be even better. So, and tomorrow. So please join us. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. So this time I'm going to move for adjournment. At this point, I'm going to go open up the housing authority. So we have,
Do you need a second on the adjournment?
housing authority. We're just going to go ahead and do the treasury report. And I'll move for consent of the treasury report. It's my motion.
Second.
Any objections? See none. So move. This point we'll move for, prior to any, just want to, obviously, we're getting a new chief executive officer coming in. Well, I want to make sure that we address, and I guess I'll bring it up at another meeting up with a lot of residents, of course, code enforcement violations, but I think that some of the charges, we need to look at those because some of them are, I think they're excessive, and there has to be some type of plan where we could work with them directly to be able to fix some of those, or tear down some of the legal conversions that they've had, or they purchased the home as is, what have you. But that'll be for another meeting, and I'll catch up with them. We could also thank Maria Gallo, who's the one that's overlooking law enforcement, right? Maria Gallo, spoke to her at length today. What an awesome person she is, and very understandable, working with some of the residents that I have met with. And I just want to make sure that we continue to do what she's doing because she's really fostering a good environment, despite the fact that, when code enforcement are going to specific areas, certain residents, of course, have differences of opinion and what have you. But nevertheless, we'll move forward. And I'll save it for another meeting. I'll end up meeting with the CEO and share it with everyone publicly. All right, that's the only thing I have. Yes.
One last thing, if I could ask Captain Taylor can you expand a little bit about the television station that's coming over next week to kind of, or this Thursday, I believe, right?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah,
Talk about our
absolutely.
community
Tell them
program.
to come out and interview Cynthia, who's working in our crime prevention unit, and also for battered females. And they're doing a story about her and her job in the city and what we're offering. And there'll be a concerts in the park tomorrow to also interview her over there and see how she interacts with people. That will air next Thursday morning on Telemundo in the morning.
Very good.
And that's what it is.
Good publicity for our city. Thank you very much.
Yeah, she did a really good job, and they were really excited to interview her, especially for our city.
Awesome. That's right.
Thank your staff for that. Appreciate it.
Yes, that's Cynthia. It's that program as well as the community service that she's doing in the community relations department as well. She's kind of wearing two hats.
Oh, great. Awesome. Awesome, that's good. All right, so at this point, I move for adjournment of the City Council.
Second.
Any objections? Seeing none. Viva Ballpark. Good evening.